Hey everybody. The most recent CPI inflation report from the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, was finally released today after being delayed because of the partial government shutdown. Now, the numbers actually came out pretty decent. The inflation headline number came in at 2.4%. This is less than analysts' expectations. And the core metric, which removes volatile assets like food and energy prices, came in at 2.5%. Expectations were that both of these numbers came in at 2.5%. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to obviously say what everyone's probably thinking. Does that sound right to you? When you go to the grocery store, when you go to the gas station, when you buy things, when you pay for services, does 2.4% increases in prices seem right to you? That means that salary growth is actually outgrowing prices, inflation. Does that seem right to you? Okay, you can let me know in the comments, because obviously I understand that these numbers don't necessarily reflect what the average person sees on a day-to-day basis. And that's also because there are studies that show that the true inflation rate is about double what CPI is. Remember, CPI, PC, these are price metrics. They track the cost of living. Okay, but before I get ahead of myself, we will discuss what this means for the Federal Reserve, for interest rates, and for the future of the economy in 2026. But before I do that, let me just give you all the important numbers. As always, my name is Derek. I got my degree in finance, so you don't have to. Here are the numbers from the official report. Okay, so once again, all items came in at 2.4% increase. Food came in at a 2.9% increase. Food at home was 2.1%. Food away was 4%, so much more expensive and much more price growth eating out. Energy was actually down by 0.1%. Energy commodities was down by 7.3%. Gasoline was down by 7.5%. Electricity, though, was up by 6.3%. Utility, this is gas services for your house, this was up by 9.8%. Some other important ones, of course, are vehicles. New vehicles were up 0.4%, but used vehicles were down by 2%. Apparel is up 1.7%. Medical care and commodities were up by 0.3%. Services minus energy was up 2.9%. And then, of course, shelter inflation, which is your house, your rent, your apartment, that was up 3%. You can let me know if that sounds accurate too, because this is an area where most people see a discrepancy and they say, no, that's way off. Transportation up 1.3% and medical care and services up 3.9%. So what does this mean for the economy? Well, first let's talk about the big one, interest rates. Now, as we all know, Donald Trump wants Jerome Powell to lower interest rates. We just got the jobs report, which when you dug a little deeper, on the surface it looked good. I made a video on that, but when you dug a little deeper, there was a massive revision downward in 2025. The economy barely added jobs. So when that happened, the CME Fed Watch tool, which tracks the likelihood of the Federal Reserve lowering their FFR, their interest rate, that was basically no chance. This, on the other hand, does the opposite, because remember, the Federal Reserve keeps the FFR high to fight inflation. So if inflation is coming down quicker than expected, that might actually give them incentive to cut rates. When you look at the CME Fed Watch tool now, though, that the CPI inflation report has been released, it barely changed. It's still 90% chance that the Federal Reserve under Jerome Powell does not cut the FFR at their next meeting. Another thing we have to note is that the Federal Reserve, they care more about PCE, which is the Personal Consumption Expenditures report, more than the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. So they're going to put more weight on that one, and they care more about the core number, not the headline number. So even on the CPI, remember the headline number came in at 2.4, but the core did meet expectations at 2.5%. Okay, I don't want to drag this video out longer than it needs to be. This is just a quick update to let you know what's going on. I'm sure Donald Trump will post on Truth Social about how this means that Jerome Powell must cut interest rates now because there's virtually no inflation. And while yes, this is a good number and it is better than expected, the Federal Reserve is likely not going to cut interest rates, which means we're probably going to have higher interest rates just for a little longer. Remember, Kevin Warsh replaces Jerome Powell, as long as he's confirmed, in May, and that will probably start a cascade effect of slightly easier monetary policy. The Federal Reserve is already printing $40 billion per year, so my stance remains the same. Easier money is coming back to the economy in 2026. If this video was informative, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel tremendously. I mean this from the bottom of my heart when I say this. It's difficult to grow on YouTube, so every subscription means the world to me, and I appreciate it. If you like personal finance, world economics, and investing, you're in the right place, so I hope to see you in the next video. They're supposed to be every week, but they're like every other day at this point because we live in a crazy economic world, so I'm sure I'll see you very soon for that next video. Until then, Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and a great weekend. Take care.